Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news mashup video today, starting with Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder 3, with an Australian bid starting to take shape. So Dean Lonergan, the promoter of Jeff Horn, who brought Manny Pacquiao to Australia back in 2017, starting to put a little bit more meat on the bones of a potential fight, the venue, the date, to get Fury Wilder 3 to Australia. So see here on screen, this is the sportingnews.com.au. So Dean Lonergan, and here we go. What I've suggested is getting that fight in Australia on Boxing Day to celebrate Jack Johnson's win over Tommy Burns. It would be 112 years to the day since that historic fight, and this would be a massive event. We've penciled in Bankwest Stadium and Suncorp Stadium, and it could be a huge celebration of one of the guys in sporting folklore who has been underappreciated and under-celebrated. Jack Johnson was one of the biggest trailblazers in the sport, and there'd be a lot of media attention on what he managed to achieve. And Lonergan has actually worked with Aaron before. That was for that Pacquiao fight back in 2017, as I previously mentioned. Lonergan also a former promoter or involved with Joseph Parker's earlier part of his career. And that was before he split with David Higgins about 3 or 4 years ago. So who knows if this is actually going to come to something. There is obviously Macau that is seemingly the front runner. Bob Arum, the promoter for Tyson Fury, co-promoter, has said that there's an offer from Macau. They can have a site fee. They're looking at a 10,000 seat stadium, and Suncorp Stadium, that is significantly bigger in Australia. Will there be a mass crowd allowed by that point in Australia? It's hard to say. It's only June at this point, but Boxing Day, so that would be early on Boxing Day elsewhere in the world, or potentially even still late on Christmas Day in some parts, given the time difference. But we'll have to wait and see with interest with where all this goes. But I still believe that China, with that Macau bid, is the probably likeliest option if they take it out of the United States, which at this point it looks likely. The unified champion Anthony Joshua has given an update on a knee injury that became apparent when he attended a protest in London. So of the injury to his left knee, he said, "I bust my knee up running miles in the woods. Doc said take all the weight off it for 2 or 3 weeks. Still training, still active, still punching. 2 weeks to go, then it's off." And Joshua is set to face Kubrat Pulev at some point, his mandatory challenger in the IBF. Where that fight will be, it's still unclear. There's talk it could go offshore, potentially Croatia, potentially elsewhere. A lot of sort of things in the air with boxing right now, but this fight, they do want to have a crowd to maximize the money that they can make off it. It looks likely that Hughie Fury versus Dave Allen is all but a lock to happen in the coming months as boxing resumes post the lockdown. Matchroom posting a media article to its own website. So Hughie Fury says, "Dave Allen keeps mentioning my name, saying he wants to fight me and all this. I'm a fighting man, so let's get it on as soon as possible. It doesn't bother me. It's only going to be fights against English opponents at the moment. It will be a good fight between the pair of us. There's no point in waiting. I've no hard feelings against him, but he's mentioning my name, so let's get it on." And then Fury later in that same release says, "I'm 25, I'm still filling out. One thing I love to do is fight, and no one will ever take that away from me. I love these challenges. We've changed a lot, although you never got to see too much in the Pavel Sauer fight. When I get back in these bigger fights, that's when you will see the difference and the changes we've made." So it does appear that this fight is going to be on the horizon in the coming months. And I did actually speak about this particular fight just a week or so ago on my Patreon. And I do feel that, compared to the diet of Hughie Fury sort of going up between world level, your Parker, Povetkin, Pulev, and then dropping down to really low levels, Chris Norrad, Pavel Sauer, etc., that Dave Allen does represent a step up from some of the lower fights Fury has had between going up and stepping up 2 or 3 steps to the bigger fights. So this is a fight I think Fury can do well in. He probably wins it by decision, a lopsided points decision. He probably stays on the outside, tags Allen up, and coasts to a decision. Allen, some will say he's got a puncher's chance, but I see this sort of ending similar to the David Price fight, but maybe Allen not taking such a beating. And rounding up this heavyweight news mashup video, Gerry Forrest has signed to Lou DiBella. So see here on screen, Forrest on his social media reacting, saying, "We out here working. I do it for us and I'll never stop. I got a coach. I just want to inspire while winning. Please know it's bigger than me." So Gerry Forrest, he had previously been signed to fight Filip Hrgović before the lockdown. Whether that fight goes ahead after it, unclear, probably unlikely. Filip Hrgović, who knows where he will be fighting. Perhaps he will have to take a fight in Europe. He's obviously based in Croatia. We'll have to see. Forrest, signing with DiBella, who's got the likes of Stephen Shaw, also Junior Farr, he might have to look to something that is in the United States, perhaps even within the stable, the heavyweights that Lou DiBella has. DiBella having, half a dozen or so decent or so heavyweights that he could fight against. But what do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.